Welcome everybody for today's game against the Lancaster Firebirds. Today's first game of the weekend. Tomorrow's game against the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, which will be at 12:15, I believe. But played Lancaster earlier this year, had a 5-2 win at Iceline. All right, start us off today on the ice is Anthony Barthol, Jake, and Kobe, with Blake and Ricky on the defensive end with Aiden Mott in net. Believe we're down Luca today. Alright, so Anthony Barthol going to start us on the face-off. Puck's down, one back by Team Philly. Ricky sends it back in the neutral zone. Picked up by Kobe. Kobe charging the puck. Gets to it. Almost picked up in the slot by Anthony. Now kicks it side. Back over to Jake. Jake tried to pull it through. Had to drive it back into the neutral zone. Gets it back up. Tap to Kobe. Kobe forces it through. Little pressure. Firebird send it to the neutral zone. Now send it deep. Aiden back over to retrieve it. Backhand, send up the board over to Jake. Jake loses it. Shot attempt off of Aiden's skate. Goes wide. Sent forward. Barthol over to put pressure on. Sent all the way up the ice. Aiden Nichols out onto the ice. Picks it up in the neutral zone. Holds it up. Looks up. Doherty. Tried to get it. Lost it in. Aiden. Sent long. Back over to Doherty. Doherty sends it over to the opposite side to Fisher. Fisher couldn't get it. It's outside of his reach. Sent along the boards. Doherty tried to pick it up. Now it's back up to Nichols. Nichols sends it into the slot. Picked up by the Firebirds. Send it over to the opposite side. Firebirds look. Send it long into the neutral zone. Opposite side across the blue line. Gain the zone as Nichols is back on the defensive end to pick it up. Lucas back over to help out. Centering attempt. Knocked back over to Fisher. Fisher looking. Tried to get a pass off. Has stick lifted. Now it's picked up by Lucas. Sends to the other side over to Fisher. Drops it back over to Bob. Nichols. Back over to Lucas. Lucas. Back over to Fisher. Drops it in. Lucas on the forecheck around the opposite side. Picked up against the wall. Cycles the puck. Back over to the corner to Fisher. Fisher dropped it out to the point to Thies, who's on the ice. Brandon Fisher out onto the ice now. Doherty back into the corner. Centering pass goes across the crease. Back over to Thies. Fisher maintains the puck. Doherty loses it off. Fight behind the net. Fisher, back over to Fisher, Fisher to Fisher. Firebirds come out of the zone into the neutral zone, cross center ice, now across the blue line. Try to get a shot off. Pass on the other side. Good job by Peruto to lift the stick. Opportunity for the Firebirds to take a shot on goal. Peruto tries to center it back over to Cusa. Cycle to Peruto. Peruto over to Cusa looking. Oh, nice feed. Fisher, good shot. Shoulder saved by the Firebirds. Tobin charging the blue line, try to keep it in. Now Thies keeps it. Tobin tries to keep it there. 3 Team Philly players, gets knocked away by the Firebirds. Back over to Thies. Thies holds the puck up, has a guy in his back pocket, shuffles it back over to Peruto. Peruto just couldn't put eyes on the puck. Back over to Aiden. Aiden drops it down, picked up by Tobin. Tobin's pressure, cycles on the opposite side. 13:29. Back over to Thies. Thies sends it deep. Back over to Peruto. Peruto skirts by defender, gets all the way back. Barthol out on the ice with Hessen. Kobe joins him. Firebirds try to drive in, gets it knocked away, back over to Zimmerman. Zimmerman taps it forward, back over to Bart. Bart gets it up to Jake. Jake streaking long, looks for it, loses it back behind the net. Bartle, out to the top, Ricky. Kick save by the goaltender after a shot from Ricky. Attempted shot by Krecker. No icing call. Puck sent long, picked up. Shot attempt goes wide. Hessen between his leg, kicks it forward. Zimmerman over to help out. Back in the neutral zone, picked up by Krecker. Krecker comes across the blue line, drops it back to Doherty. Doherty opposite side to beautiful play. Oh my gosh, centering pass right there. Last time we faced the Firebirds, this may be the same goaltender, played really well. So back over, Lucas tries to gather it, looks, pulls it through, comes back around, centers it back up to the point to Nichols. Nichols gets a shot, goes really high. Kick back out in the neutral zone. Running clock for the entire time so far, no whistle yet. Back over to Lucas. Lucas centers it back out to Fisher. Fisher dropped it back up to Lucas. Lucas tried to pick it up over to Doherty. Fisher tried to get a shot off, goes off a defender's skate, goes wide. Nice attempt by Fisher. Fisher looked. Lucas tried to cross the goalie up out front. Pick back up. Doherty. Fisher into the corner. Picks it up. Back over to Doherty. Fisher gets to it. Firebirds. Lucas knocks it down. Back over to Doherty. Oh my gosh, that puck. I don't know how it stayed out. Good feed by Doherty. Puck jumps the stick. Lucas over to help out. Back out to Nichols. Cycles it back over to Lucas. Lucas tried to get it back over opposite side to Fisher. Intercepted by a defender. Knocked down. Pops sent it long. Picked up. Peruto out on the ice. It's all the way, and that'll be an icing call for the first stoppage of the game. Getting the shots on net, just unable to capitalize a couple of them. Trickled by the goaltender, just outside the post. Puck's down, back over to Peruto. Tries to make a move, back over to Fisher. Fisher gains it, tries centering pass. Off the Cusa's stick. Tobin on the back check. Ada knocks it to the back wall. Picked back up by Thies. Thies. Back out into the neutral zone. Cusa picks up the loose puck. Tobin loses the puck. Oh, whiffed on the puck. Firebirds had an opportunity, just couldn't capitalize. Fisher picks it up as it knocks it out. Comes charging up, gets around the corner. Try to center pass. Now picks it back up again, looks. Now it's back into the slot. Now it's back over to Peruto. Peruto couldn't get it on the strong side of his stick. Now it comes into the neutral zone. Firebirds get to the puck. Centering pass, knocked down by Ricky. Picked back up in the neutral zone, tap forward. That's going to be an icing call. .904, first period, 0-0. Puck's down against the back wall. Ricky's over to help out. Barthel picks it up. Kobe waits for it, picks it up. Jake in a foot race to the puck. Now it gets into the neutral zone. Delayed offside. Cleared zone. Kobe back over on the charge. Ooh, sent on his own net. Unsure what the Firebirds were doing there. Back in the neutral zone, picked up by Ricky. Ricky, zone clears. Shot attempt. Goaltender gloves it. Barthel. Picked down, back out to the point to Ricky. Ricky waits. Try to get a shot off. Put a little visibility in front of the goaltender. Ricky's there again. Jake's over in the corner. Firebirds try to clear the zone. Ricky holds the zone. Ricky decides to move center ice. Backhand. It's good backhand coming out. That should be an icing call. .8-10 first period. Lucas, Colin, Ben with Blake and Ricky. Back over. Doherty just outside of his reach. Ricky sent it in. Nice redirect. Puck was just waiting there. Back out to the point to Ricky. Ricky. Puck's down, over, picked up by Doherty. Now it's lost. Defender picks it up, comes across center ice. Shuffled back to the corner. Ricky tries to clear it back up to Doherty. Doherty over, try to Lucas, back over to Ricky. Ricky, sides, hold up, back over. Delayed offsides. Firebirds had to clear it, back over to Lucas. Lucas couldn't control it. Doherty tries a backhand. Now it's picked up by Lucas. Lucas. Back over to Doherty. Had Blake coming up center ice. Tried to get a shot off. Stick lift. Nice defensive pressure. Picks it back up. Got numbers. Loses it back in. Turnover in the offensive zone. Nichols back over to get it. 7 minutes left in the period. Back over to Lucas. Lucas. Tried to get to it. Turnover in neutral zone, picked up. I believe that's a Firebird score. I think Aiden had a glove on it, and it was redirected off the skate and went to the opposite side. So Firebirds on the board first. 1-0. The puck's down. Firebirds control, send it up into the neutral zone. Nichols, pressure onto the puck. Gets it back up. Peruto looking to charge. Cusa, back along the boards. That may be an icing call. Icing call. Cusa, Fisher, Peruto, Bobst, and Nichols. Pucks down, drop back for Cusa, gets that shot off, goes wide. Peruto back over. Fisher over to help him out. Sent back into the neutral zone, picked up by Bobst. Retrieves back, sends it back over to Nichols. Cycles it back over. Oh, picked up by Cusa. Cusa by himself with the goaltender. Couple shots on goal there. Opportunities for Team Philadelphia, cannot capitalize. Loses the puck in the neutral zone. Got a 3-on-1. Got lucky. Peruto's there. Picks the puck up. Got Nichols trailing him. Unable to capitalize. 3-on-2 odd man rush for the Firebirds. Tobin forces puck outside. Picked back up in the neutral zone. Delayed offside. Firebirds have to clear the zone. Picked up by Aiden behind the net. Back over to Heston. Heston taps it forward all the way to the back wall. Barthol out to help Zimmerman. Picks it up, goes off his beak. Makes its way all the way back to Tobin, standing in neutral zone. Sends it deep. Heston over, tries a backhand. Keeps it in. Now it's out in the neutral zone. Delayed offsides, now it's cleared. Sent all the way down the ice. Aiden backhands it. Shuffles it out to the corner. Now it's back over to Kobe. Kobe, across the blue line. Shot attempt. So Team Philly calling a timeout. At the 4:23 mark.
Went down, he couldn't find food.
Coach Wolf giving a little bit of motivation here. Although Team Philly is getting pressure into the zone, they need to get back a little bit more on defensive end. Refocus the team. So 4:23, 1-0, Firebirds. Mott, Fisher, Doherty, Wright, and Krecker out on the ice. Pucks down, Firebirds. Send it long. Not enough for an icing call. Picked up by Ricky on the back check. Ricky got pressure. Sends it back over to Krecker. Krecker picks it up. Back over to Fisher. Fisher, back over to Lucas. Lucas gets a nice shot off. Goes off the butt end of the goaltender's stick. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher gets knocked off the puck, then picks it back up again. Gets to it. Looking. And it's a nice shot. Two decent shots, but this goaltender is pretty locked in, so you're going to have to get him moving across the slot, across the crease to get an opportunity. So we keep the pressure going. Puck's down. Firebirds pick it up, come streaking through. Across the blue line, try to send it back. Krecker tries to send it out of the zone. Picked up at the blue line by the Firebirds, now picked up into the corner. Ricky putting pressure, it's back over to Doherty. Doherty try to back in over to Lucas. Intercepted by the Firebirds, picked up by Ricky in the corner. Doing battle along the boards. Now it's back over. Nice save by Aiden. Nice pass by the Firebirds. Aiden luckily got back across the other side, got a stick on it. Back over to Doherty. Doherty opposite side over to Fisher. Fisher try to drop back to Lucas. Lucas gets a shot off. Doherty cycles back. Oh my gosh, redirect by Fisher goes over top of the goal. Back over to Doherty. Doherty try to feed it through back over to Lucas. Lucas try to get it back out to Nichols at the point. Nice save by the goaltender. Again, got to get the goaltender moving. Back out to the point. Krecker, opposite side, back over to, gets a shot attempt. Goaltender, try to put a glove on it. Krecker picks it up at the blue line. Sent it back over to Fisher. Fisher. Line has been on the ice for quite some time. Now it's dropped back down. Back check. Shot attempt goes high and wide. Picked up by Lucas. Lucas cross center ice. Maneuvers around one player. Gets a nice shot off. Goaltender had to reach for that. Puck's down, back over to Bops. Bops to the point. Oh my gosh, knocked down by the goaltender, couldn't maintain it. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher, back over to Prudo. Prudo, shot attempt goes off a defender's stick. Prudo back into the corner, get it. Looking, back out all the way to the point. Cycle back over to Nichols. Nichols, redirect. Fisher on the faceoff. It's down, gets pushed. Back over to Prudo, back over to Cusa. Try to get it to Cusa. Prudo back fighting for it. Gets it back out. Now it's into the neutral zone. Nichols picks it up, looks it back. Back over. Cycle back over to Bops. Bops in the corner looking. Dangerous pass. Opposite side over to Fisher. Fisher's got a couple guys in front of him. Cusa just kind of tapped it back into the corner. All the way back. Nichols gathers. Back over to Bops. 54 seconds left in the first period. Nichols gets by a defender. That looked like an offsides. Centering pass goes right to a defender. Picked back up by Bops. Try to backhand. Tobin picks it up in the neutral zone. Drop down. Now it's back over to Tobin. Picked up Peruto on the charge. They got three guys in front of him. Gets it knocked away. 19 seconds left. Fisher sends it back out to Thies. .43 White with the high stick. So at the 10-second mark, Team Philadelphia will be on a power play. So 10 seconds before the end of the first period. Back over. Lucas sends it back out to the point to Nichols. Nichols And that'll be the end of the first period. So end of the first period, 1-0 Lancaster, Firebirds. Team Philly will come out second period with 1 minute and 51 seconds left on their power play opportunity. All right, so special teams unit for the power play out on the ice still. Kobe, Doherty, Nichols, Ben, and Lucas. So minute 51. Touchdown, Lucas on the battle, sends it back, picked up by Doherty. Doherty holds up, waits for it, picked up by Lucas. Lucas loses an edge, not quite sure what that was. Sent back over to the opposite side, nobody's back over. Fisher looks to gather it. Lucas charging up ice by a defender. Opposite side over to Doherty. Doherty looking, sets it up to Lucas at the point. Opposite side to Nichols. Nichols try to get over to Doherty. Tipped by a defender. Picked back up by Doherty. That was quick on the whistle. Puck down, sent back out to the point, picked up by Nichols. Opposite side over to Lucas. Took a shot, seemed a little bit weak. Back over to the opposite side again, centered to Nichols. Centering pass, gets picked up by the Firebirds. Send it long, picked up by Aiden. .35 seconds left on the power play. Lucas sends the opposite side over to Doherty. Doherty across the blue line. Looking, center pass back over to Nichols. Nichols, back over to Doherty. Nice pass by Kobe. Lucas couldn't get a stick on it. 14 seconds. Back over to Kobe. Lucas loses it off his skate, and that'll kill the penalty. Doherty had to wait up. Cycles it back. Even strength. Kobe picks it up. Picked up by Doherty. Doherty looking. Try to center pass over to Fisher. Kobe loses a stick. Aiden. Stick save into the corner. Picked back up by Doherty. Back over to Doherty. Goes long to Fisher, just outside of his reach. Puck's down, back over. Ricky into the corner. Firebirds pick it up, try to center it pass, picked up by Fisher. Fisher back over to Cusa. Dropped it back over to Fisher. Fisher. Shot attempt. Back down over to Fisher. Fisher tried to center it back into the slot to Cusa. Gets tipped and back out into the neutral zone. Crucker back over there. Peruto. Peruto lightly tossed it into the zone. Picked up by the Firebirds. Shot attempt goes high over Aiden's head. Now it's picked up by Fisher. And there'll be a penalty coming up on the Firebirds for interference. So Team Philly be on the second power play. Unable to capitalize on the first one. Heston, Peruto, Fisher, Cracker, and Cusa out on the ice. Puck's down, back over to Peruto. Peruto thought about it, then cycles it back out to the point to Cracker. Cracker over to Fisher. Fisher, opposite side, over to Cusa. Cusa gets a nice shot off. Got to get the goaltender moving. Fisher makes a move around, back out to the point, over to Cusa. Nice shot attempt. Cracker keeps it in the zone. Over to the opposite side to Cusa, back out to the Fisher to point. Cracker, opposite side, over to Cusa. Scores! Cusa with a wicked goal. A nice pass from Cracker on the opposite side for the first score of the game. So Team Philly evens it up at the 13-19 mark. More effective power play. Puck's down, picked up by Lucas after it goes off of Fisher back in the neutral zone. Shot attempt. Goes into the back netting. Lucas tried to push forward back to the back wall, lost it between his skates, sent up the boards, bops over to charge the blue line. It's still in the zone. Back check. Good job by Bops, put pressure on the puck, back over to Fisher. Fisher looking, gets it back up to Nichols. Nichols across the blue line, looking, turns the corner. Sent all the way up the ice. No icing. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher cycles it back over to Bops. Bops looking. Not sure what that pass is for. Now back up to Fisher. Fisher over to Lucas. Lucas across the blue line. Back over to Doherty. Picked up by Lucas again. Good kick down by Nichols. Opposite side over to Fisher. Fisher tries to send it in, wide of the net. Back out to Nichols. Centering pass. Picked up by Firebirds. Backhand goes wide of the net. Picked up by Nichols over in the corner, sent deep. Delayed offside, picked up. Bops gathers the puck, sends it into the zone. Lucas swipes at it. Aiden kicks it back in the neutral zone, picked up by Lucas. Nice shot attempt. Glove side saved by the goaltender. Picked up by Lucas, loses it back out to Tobin. That should be an icing call. Barthol on the faceoff. Zimmerman back in the slot, try to pick it up. Firebirds try to clear the zone, it's not there. Tobin picks it up at the blue line. Sent over to Jake. Jake lets it go by him. Picked up by Jake. Jake looking. Gets a shot off, turns and fires. Thies charges the blue line, tries to keep it in. Back over to Jake. Jake looking. Scores! That's a score! Pick up by, I think it was Thies, dropped it into Jake. Jake cycled it back over to the opposite side to Kobe. Kobe gets a shot off and trickles across the goal line for the second score of the game. So Team Philly 2-1. Barthol. Face off. Firebirds win it back. Send it forward. Try to get it in the zone. Now it's kicked back up. Kobe's there. Tried to do a stick lift. Firebirds pick it up in the neutral zone. Cycle back opposite side. Turnover. Jake picks it up. Sends it deep. That actually went off the stand. So it'll be a neutral zone face-off. Fisher, Cusa, and Peruto out on the ice. Krecker and Ricky back on defense. Set down. Krecker drops it in. Goaltender knocks it down. Fisher back over in the corner, puts some pressure on. Peruto back over to help him out. Fisher draws it forward, back opposite side to get over to Cusa. Cusa cycles it back out to Krecker at the point. Opposite Ricky with the shot, goes wide, back over to Cusa. Golden opportunity, didn't have it on the strong side. Knocked down by Fisher, good mid-air knockdown. Peruto gets to it, looking, sends it back out to the point to Ricky. Ricky opposite side over to Krecker. Good traffic in front of the net, but just not quite enough. Fisher tried to do a push through, lost it, back out. Krecker standing at the blue line, now gets its way out to the neutral zone. Firebirds get to it. All the way back, Aiden knocks it down, cycles it over to Krecker. Krecker tried to get over to Peruto, stopped at the wall by a defender. Krecker's back over, gets it over to Peruto. Peruto looking, try to feed it to Fisher coming up center ice. Peruto over to Cusa. Cusa drops it in. Team Philly gains his own. Firebirds send along the boards, try to clear it. Now send it into neutral zone. Comes back out. Ricky gathers it. Left side over to Krecker. Krecker tried to get it out of the zone. Picked up by the Firebirds. Ricky on the back check to pick it up. Sends it into the, the corner. Peruto gathers a loose puck. Looking at Cusa. Sends it forward. That's going to be an icing call. .855. 2-1 Team Philly. 8:55 left, second period. Puck's down, back over to Bops. Bops tries to send it, gets it into the neutral zone. Firebirds have to wait to clear the zone. Back over to Nichols. Nichols over to Lucas. Lucas try to get opposite side pass. Picked up by Nichols. Fisher makes a move around, lost the puck. Oh my gosh, sent that one almost into the stands. Puck's through to the back wall. Doherty's over. Firebirds send it long. Bob Stover. Lucas face-off, wins it back over to Barth. Ooh, that's a high stick. Kicked down by Nichols. Sent around to the opposite side, back against the wall. Firebirds look to drop it in. Nichols picks it up. Center pass over to Lucas. Lucas back over to Doherty. Lucas charging forward. Colin tried to get a shot off, whiffed on it. Puck is still out in the neutral zone, comes down. Shot attempt, knocked down. Back over to Doc. Doherty loses it. Good opportunity there, lost it in the neutral zone. Back over to Bops, send it over to Lucas. Neutral zone, 3-on-2 opportunity. Bad pass, gets knocked off the defender's stick. Back over to Doherty. Doherty tries to backhand center. Firebirds come away with it. Thies. Center pass across the crease goes by Aiden out to the wall. Picked up by Kobe. Now Tobin gets it, sends it back up to Doherty. Doherty puts a hand on it, try to kick it down. Tobin waits for the zone to clear. Now it's clear. That'll be an icing call. .45, second period, 2-1 Team Philly. Team Philly gathers in the neutral zone. Tobin's there, sends it deep. Kobe opposite side. Forecheck, makes his way out to the point to Tobin. Tobin, nice redirect. Goaltender puts a pad on it. Back out, over to Heston. Heston, nice pass, that'll be an offsides. Barthol, Thies, Heston, Zimmerman out on the ice. Thies knocks it down to center ice. Kobe lets it release, clear the zone. Tap forward, Aiden back of the back wall. Sends it back over to Thies. Thies coming up. Zimmerman releases back over to Barthol, gets it over to Jake. Barthol comes across the blue line, tries a centering pass, goes off a defender. Nice shot attempt. Nice centering pass. Cusa Fisher against the wall. Fisher comes away with it, knocks it on the other side. Firebirds pick it up. Peruto with good pressure onto the puck. Knocked down by Fisher. Fisher back over to Cusa. And that went off the netting, so that'll be an end zone face-off. Lucas on the face-off. Back down over to Fisher. Fisher gains it. Try to get a shot off, goes off a defender's skate. Makes it into the neutral zone. Good stick lift by Fisher. Picked up by Lucas. Lucas just outside of his reach. Back over to Krecker. Krecker clears it back out, and that'll be an icing call. Face off. Shot attempt. Two good saves by Aiden. Back over to Lucas. Lucas gets it over opposite side to Fisher. Just outside of his reach, couldn't knock it down. Fisher knocks it down, back over. Gets around a defender, back into the corner, gets checked along the boards, looking, back out to the point to Krecker. Krecker opposite over to Ricky. Ricky sends it deep. Lucas picks it up, digs it out of the corner. Sent it back over to Doherty. Doherty. Try to cycle it back over. Ricky, good blue line defense, knocks it back down, back over to Fisher. Fisher, back over to Doherty. Doherty, off, it's got Lucas on the opposite side. Good defensive stick by the Firebirds. Still picked up by Krecker at the point. Shot attempt goes wide, picked back up at the point by Ricky. Ricky, force push through. Back over to Lucas, sends it out to Fisher. Clear the zone. All the way back out, Krecker feeds it, sends it deep. Goaltender knocks it down. Barthol picks it up, back into the corner, looking. Send it back behind him. Waits. Picked up at the wall by Heston. Heston gets taken off his edges. Back out the bops at the point. And glove saved by the goaltender. Barthol, Zimmerman, Heston, Bobst, and Nichols. Pucks down to Bobst. Shot attempt goes off the glove. Barthol sends it back out to the point to Nichols. Nichols gets shot, goes off the side of the net. Nichols gathers it, gets the shot attempt off. Oh, my puck went over the goaltender's shoulder, but just wide of the net. That'll be an icing call. Barthol. Puck down, Zimmerman, just outside of his reach. Firebirds send it along the opposite side, up the boards, back over to Bops. Bops try to clear the zone. Kobe does. That should be an offsides. Back over to Heston. Heston tries a backhand. Doesn't make it far enough. Barthol. Good defensive pressure. Picked back up by Nichols. Now it's back over to Kobe. Kobe tried to play it off the wall, unable to do so. Aiden. Fisher, one to the back wall. Thies sends it back up over to Peruto. Peruto looking, he's got Cusa ahead of him, drops it over to Cusa. Fisher's with him, just back behind. Fisher back on the forecheck. Cusa back over to help him out. Whiffed on by Firebirds, picked up by Fisher, loses it in the corner. Back out to Thies at the point. Try to turn and keep it, 2-on-1 opportunity. Nice save by Aiden. Back over to Doherty. Doherty's got Cusa with it. Doherty beats his defender, looks over. Back over to Doherty. Doherty loses it off the stick and makes it out in the neutral zone. Back over to Tobin. Tobin cycles it back over to Thies. Back over to Nichols. Nichols, opportunity, misses to the left. That'll be an icing call. Back out. Just underneath the stick of Fisher. 35 seconds left in the second period. Lucas back over. Picked back up by Fisher. Fisher makes a move around the defender. Comes across the blue line, looking for a little bit of help. Shuffles it back into the corner. Try to pressure the defender off. Opposite side pass back over to Nichols. Backhand goes wide. No icing. Back over to Krecker. Krecker gets taken off the puck. .3 seconds, so add an extra. So Firebirds pull the goalie for 1.3 seconds, add an extra man. Puck's down, and that will end the second period. So Team Philly up 2-1 after 2 periods. Come back with 2 goals that period. All right, 17 minutes left in the game. All right, Pops and Thies, defensive end to start. Cusa, Nichols, Fisher. Out on the offensive line. Looks like we're all set. Puck's down, back over. Bob picks it up, sends it in. Ooh, goes off the referee. Sure he didn't appreciate that, but so much. Back over to Cusa. Cusa drops it in the zone, sends it out opposite side. Ooh, my gosh. Nichols gets nice takedown. No penalty call on that. Back over to Bops. Bops. That's a high stick. That's picked back up. Now over to Cusa across center ice, drops it in. Goaltender tried to knock it down. Braden on the forecheck, send it out to Thies at the point. Goaltender steers it back into the corner. Drop back over to Cusa. Cusa loses it, but send it back out to Thies. Thies drops it to the other side. Nichols against the wall. Opposite side pass, gets by Thies. Thies pulls it off his backhand over to Bops. Bops back over to Nichols. Opposite side over to Thies. Sends it long, back over to Fisher. Fisher tried to fit two defenders. Cusa's there, unable to gather it. Firebirds now across the blue line. And Aiden with the save. Lucas, Ben, Colin. Puck's dropped back to the back wall, picked up by Tobin. Tobin gathers it, sends it up, just outside the reach of Ben. Shot attempt goes wide. Picked up by Tobin. Tobin back over to Colin. Colin drops it over to Lucas. Lucas has a step. Nice feed opposite side over to Colin. Sorry, Fisher. Couldn't capitalize. Shot attempt goes wide again. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher back over to, sent to the opposite side. Crackers back over. Picked up by Tobin. Tobin try to pass on it, whips on the puck. Backhand attempt to try to get the puck center ice. Gets knocked off a stick. Doherty gets to it. Doherty back over to Fisher. Looking. Back over to Doherty. Point blank shot goes wide. Ricky charge across the blue line. Puck's down, Fisher. Nichols back into the corner. Sent back out in the neutral zone just beyond Cusa's reach. Back over to Krecker. Oh, it looks like a penalty on, I did not see that. Penalty on Lancaster, so Team Philadelphia is up a man. Cusa drops, thought about it. So Team Philly's on a power play. Heston gets it back out to Fisher at the point. Back over to Heston. To Cusa. Opposite side, back out to Cusa at the point. Try to feed it back over opposite side to Krecker. And Krecker can't control, makes it outside. Battle into the neutral zone. Heston. Aiden reaches for it. 53 seconds left on the power play for Team Philadelphia. Cusa. Charges forward. He's got Nichols with him. Drops it back off to Nichols. Over to Cusa. Back out to Nichols at the point. Opposite side over to Ricky. Ricky. Back over to Fisher. Fisher. Back feed to Ricky. Back out to Heston. Over to Ricky. Ricky drops it over to Colin. Colin. And that will be even strength. Back out to Kobe. Kobe tries to send it back up. Back over to Doherty. Doherty finds Lucas streaking up the opposite side. Gets a shot off goaltender. Pad save into the corner. Picked up by Ricky at the point. Two guys there. Fisher. Try to gather out the backside. Send it back over into the corner. And that'll be an icing. Lucas, Doherty, Fisher, right. Firebirds win the faceoff. Come back over to the blue line, gain the zone. Backhand, Aiden shuffles it back into the corner. Picked up by Doherty, sends it forward. Fisher. Ricky is going to be called for an interference call. So Team Philly will be down a man at the 11:18 mark. Barthol on the faceoff. Tobin back to retrieve it. Tries to pull it clean. Now it's back out to the point to the Firebirds. Send it over to the opposite side. Aiden with a nice stick save. Tobin back into the corner, putting pressure onto the puck. He's got three Firebirds with him. Send it back out. Send it out to the wing. Now back out to the point. Aiden with a nice save. Barthol in the faceoff. Drop down, kick back out all the way to the point. Firebird send it over to the opposite side. Send it out to the wing. Aiden with a nice save. Send all the way back. Goaltender comes out of net, picks it up. That's an icing call. Nichols, Krecker, Bops, and Fisher out on the ice. Fisher picks it up in the corner, gets taken off the puck. Fisher pressure onto the corner, almost gets the puck. Firebirds try to gain the zone, they do. Centering pass, Aiden knocks it back and clears the zone. Nichols, good job onto the puck. Bops, that was a stick to the head. Firebirds. Send it long. Picked back up by Fisher. 13 seconds. Back over to Krecker. Bops. Back over to Krecker. Krecker sends it long. Lucas out onto the ice. Even strength. Lucas pressure onto the puck. Collins there. Try to drop it out into the neutral zone. Picked up by Tobin. Tobin. Lucas streaks down opposite side. Looks to pick it up. Centers it around back opposite side. Doc looking. Sent all the way deep. Aiden shuffles it back over to Lucas. Lucas tried to get it out the zone, is unable to do so. Saved by Aiden. Picked up by Krecker. Krecker. Set long. Goaltender knocks it down. Firebird sent it into the neutral zone, picked up by Thies. Thies back over to Tobin. Tobin back over to Fisher. Fisher sends it long. Over to Lucas into the corner. Lucas tried to center pass, goes off a defender's stick, goes wide into the wall. Firebirds pick it up. 1-on-1. Team Philly got lucky. Back over to Fisher. Fisher has it knocked away. Lucas gets by a defender, looks, gets a nice shot off. Goaltender, blocker side save into the corner. Back over to Thies. Fisher can't control it. Firebirds gain the puck. Off the Thies stick, back over to Tobin. Tobin gathers it into the corner, gets knocked off his edges. Picked up by Thies, tries to send it up the wall, picked up in the corner by Lancaster. 7:16 left in the game. Doherty try to beat his man around the corner, picks it up, opposite. Somehow makes it way back to him, back over to Fisher. Fisher checked against the boards. Back over to Doherty, opposite side over to Ricky. Shot 1-on-1 with the goaltender, knocks it down into the corner. Ricky loses it. Ricky across the blue line, he's got 4 guys in front of him, gets a shot off, goes off a defender, goes wide. Got Jake, just led him a little too much. Back over, Barthol's out on the ice with Zimmerman. Ricky sends it deep back over to Jake in the corner. Jake tried to make a move around, loses the puck. Kobe on the opposite side picks the puck up. Back over to Barthol. Barthol in the corner's got 2 guys on him. Zimmerman over to help him out. Barthol picks it up, looks, sends it out to the point to Ricky. Ricky shuffles it into the corner, picked up by Heston. Heston dribbles the opposite side, back over to Kobe. Kobe tried to center it, picked up by the Firebirds. Firebirds centering pass. Good defensive pressure. Trekker back behind the net to pick it up. Back out to Heston. Heston taps it, center ice. Fisher's got a leg. Back, makes a nice move around. Gets a shot off. Fisher again picks it up. Try to get center slot, picked up by the Firebirds. Back pass. Back over to Nichols. Nichols one-on-one. Gets a nice shot off. Goaltender, shoulder side save, back into the corner. Cusa drops it in. Fisher, opposite side. Nichols, Fisher, Cusa out on the ice. Picked up by Bops. Bops in the corner. Fisher over to help him out. Sent back over to the opposite side to Nichols. Nichols, try to backhand, pass. Back into the neutral zone. Clears the zone. Lancaster defender. Loses control. Back over to Nichols. Nichols, pressure onto the puck. Knocked back down over to Thies. Thies. Delayed offsides. Lucas on the forecheck. That's an icing call. So 2-1 left in on the boards with 4:05 left in the game. 4:04, excuse me. Lucas on the faceoff. Dropped it down through the legs, looking. Puts a guy on his back pocket. Back over to Thies. Thies gets a shot off and goes wide of the net. Goaltender. Back over to Lucas. One-on-one with the goaltender. Scores! Lucas with the wrister from a feed from Doherty. Beautiful pickup to make this a 3-1 game. So at the 3:49 mark, 3-1. Barthel, Heston, Zimmerman. Puck's down. Zimmerman putting pressure onto the puck. Firebirds gain the puck. Center opposite side, try to drop it in. It's back over to Barthel. Barthel comes across center ice. Gets knocked down, sends it forward. Firebirds pick it up. Send it back opposite side, back over to Thies. Thies, good move around, sends it long. Good intercept by Barthol, center ice, drop down into the corner. Pick back up by Bob. Took a vicious hit. Back over to Zimmerman. Zimmerman tried to get it. Back over to Jake. Jake charging the puck. Delayed offside, pick back up. Kobe gets around his man, back into the corner. 1-on-3, looking for a little bit of help. Centering pass had Barthol coming up the slot. Firebirds looking long. 1-on-1 opportunity. Nice save by Aiden. Cusa, Fisher, Nichols, shot attempt, sent back up, Nichols, back over Nichols, try to tap it forward, had Cusa going the opposite way, sent back in. Back into the neutral zone, picked up, try to stick lift, picked up by Fisher. Fisher, 1-on-1 opportunity with the goaltender. Try to backhand 5 holds right there. That score. Fisher, smooth little move, backhand, sends it forward to the net. Goaltender knocks it down. I think Cusa got a stick on it, and then Nichols picks it up for the score. It's a 4-1 Team Philadelphia. Puck's down. Firebirds alongside the boards. Come across center ice. Krecker on the back check. Tries to knock it down. Takes the man off his edges. Tobin. Firebirds pick it up. Nice save by Aiden. Shoulder save. Opposite side to Cusa. Cusa. And that'll be an offsides. Fisher just a hair offsides. .132 left in the game. 4-1 Team Philadelphia. One back. Ricky. Backhand. Back over to Fisher. Across the blue line. Try to send it on net. Goes wide of the net. Doherty cycles it back down over. Opposite side. Picked up by Lucas. Lucas. Opportunity with the goaltender. Wow. Backhand. Back out Doherty. Shot attempt. Goaltender steers back into the corner. Long pass gets knocked down. Picked up by Lucas. Doherty from Lucas. That was a nice whiff. Back out to Doherty. Gets a shot off, goes over top of the goaltender's head. Fisher putting pressure onto the puck. Good stick. Back over to Doherty. 36 seconds left in the game. Doherty spreads wide, looks. Lucas with a shot attempt. Back over to the corner, Firebirds. Fourteen seconds. Back over to Bops, 11 seconds. Let the clock run out. So that'll do it for today's game. So Team Philly comes away with a 4-1 win after going down 1 goal at the first period. Come back with 4 unanswered goals. So that'll do it for today's game. Tomorrow again will be, I believe, at 12:15 against the Lehigh Valley Phantoms coming from the Steel Center up in Bethlehem. The video traditionally there is very bad, so just warn everybody in advance, but we'll see you tomorrow.